Okay, here we go again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. If you haven't subscribed already, please do hit the subscribe button. If you're not a group, if you're not a fan of our Facebook group, please join today. BWTM Sports channel, BWTM Sports channel group. Again on Facebook, join in. We've got a lot of people from the world of boxing in there, journalists, and people who are in the sport making difference, making change. Thank you so much for that. Also, thank you so much to Reverend Pickles. Big shout out to him for leaving some very interesting and enlightening comments on recent videos. Always good to get constructive comments back. Um, it helps when you can string a sentence together and actually, leave some useful content instead of he's going to smash him or his negative comments. It's great to have some positive comments on the channel. And Reverend Pickles, appreciate you. Again, shout out to Mr. Peckerdecker as well. He loves to leave good comments. Okay. Other shout outs. Got to give a shout out to the Twitter mob, the usual suspects who tweet out and been loyal and consistent and always support our videos. So shout out to them as well. You know who you are, Twitter crew. In fact, one day I'm going to do a shout out video of all the people across Twitter that normally when we post out a video, they're back hitting that retweet button within moments. So shout out to you all. Okay, so I've done all the shout outs. I've done all the gardening, I think, so far. So let's get into this. As you know, this channel hasn't done a lot of Joshua versus Wilder videos, just ones where updating dates and times or things that I hear. But this is a topic I do want to talk about because I spoke about it last time about Joshua versus Wilder. And it's not speculative. This is just something that I do think needs to be addressed. There's a few questions I have to ask, and I think I'll ask him during this video, and maybe those who are listening and can get close to Mr. Joshua might be able to ask him a few questions. Let's take this back. I've said this before. The British heavyweight in American circles for many years was considered the horizontal heavyweight. For those who are older than 20 and watching boxing will probably understand what I meant by the horizontal heavyweight. Millennials probably won't understand what I'm talking about, but the horizontal heavyweight basically was any fighter, that heavyweight that came from the UK that went to America should travel with a pillar, because that's exactly what was going to happen. That's when they're going to get knocked out. That's when the division was hot. And when you took a British heavyweight over, they were going to get smashed to pieces. That is what the heavyweight division was about in terms of the relationship between the UK and the US. Of course, things change. It was almost 100 years since there was the last world heavyweight champion that was from the UK shores. That all changed when Lennox Lewis came along. He went on and more or less dominated the heavyweight division. Seeing Lennox Lewis destroy Michael Grant wasn't good in the eyes of the American public. They didn't like it. The American journalists did not like Lennox Lewis. They didn't like to see their heroes getting beaten. Michael Grant was the second coming of I don't know who, but they had big high hopes for Michael Grant. So when Lewis smashed him, they didn't like that. They didn't like Lewis knocking up Shannon Briggs. I mean, when Shannon Briggs had Lewis wobbling in the first round, I mean, literally, the American commentary team, that's part of my French here, but they were basically ejaculating in their pants at the fact that Lennox Lewis could have got knocked out. When he got knocked out by Oliver McCall, well, they loved that. Seeing Lennox jab Holyfield's head off round after round after round, well, they didn't like that. But at the end of the day, they couldn't but say Lennox Lewis had beaten Evander Holyfield in the first fight because they were embarrassed. They really didn't want to talk about Riddick Bowe, but they knew Riddick Bowe threw the title in the bin. And that really was embarrassing for American fans as well. I say all this to say the history of boxing does not revolve around Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. It never has, and it never will. You'll probably saying, why am I saying all this? Well, it's just to say that history tends to repeat itself. We now have a situation where Anthony Joshua is a superstar in the UK. The UK. He hasn't done a Lennox Lewis. He hasn't gone over to America and conquered their champion and gone over there and done the business, as they say. He hasn't done that. He hasn't even stepped foot to have a fight over there to introduce himself to the American public. Yet the public are expecting him to go across to America and take on Deontay Wilder, who is a fearsome puncher, one of the most fearsome punchers in heavyweight history. In terms of his record and knockout victories, you could put him up there with the likes of George Foreman, Vladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko for knockout wins, Shannon Briggs. We're talking about dynamite heavyweight punches. Mike Tyson, guys who knocked you out with one punch. So when you talk about Deontay Wilder, and I know a lot of people would like to not want to admit this, but Deontay Wilder is now a long reigning champion. You gotta remember when he beat Bermane Stiverne, was it 2011? What year was it when he beat Stiverne? Let me go back and check this on BoxRec. But he must be a champion for at least 5 years now. So hold on, let me just check. Yeah, definitely gonna talk. Definitely gonna talk to you guys. So I will hear your comments, but I definitely want to stay on track with this. So I'm not ignoring you. I will read out your comments. But anyway, Wilder's been a world champion for quite a long time. It's now a WBC champion, and I don't think he's given credit for that. And not only that, he fought the champion, so he beat the actual reigning WBC champion at the time was Bermane Stiverne. He fought Luis Ortiz, who was considered the most dangerous heavyweight in the world. People now change that and try and say, well, Ortiz was old and Ortiz was that. Well, these things were told to you before the fight was even mentioned between Ortiz and Wilder. It will be the best fight of the year, and Ortiz should fight Wilder. So Wilder obliterates and gets rid of Ortiz. Yeah, he has a couple of seconds where he's hurt in a round, but come on. I've known another heavyweight not too far away, the other side of the water, that was actually the referee stopped the fight for him. Whether you like it or not, that's what happened. And another referee in another fight was constantly breaking them up. If that's not helping a fighter, I don't know what is. You see, fans see what they want to see in boxing. And obviously they don't want to see the whole truth. The fact of the matter is this: Anthony Joshua, big, strong, powerful, heavyweight, talented. You know what I think of Joshua? I think he's a very good fighter. He's very well manufactured, and he's making the most of the marketing. Here's where I think it's all gone wrong. And I do think it's all gone wrong. What do you mean it's all gone wrong? He's a unified champion in X amount of fights. Yes. Congratulations. Here's where it all went wrong. Well, first and foremost, after the defense of Josie Parker, the word Deontay Wilder should not have been brought up in terms of connection between him. When he said, I don't see myself fighting Deontay Wilder 2019, he should have kept it as that. He should have kept his mouth shut and not try to play Mr. I'll take him now. Because there's a problem with that. When you open yourself up and make certain comments like, well, at 50 million, I'll take the fight. That's probably a PR blunder at the biggest of the worst kind. Do you know why? Because unlike yesteryear, when you make a comment on social media, when you do an interview, people will hold you exactly to what you said. And Joshua has now said, well, for 50 million, I'll take the fight. So Wilder's gone and called his bluff. So what do you do now? I don't, what you say, people hold you accountable for. It would have been better if he'd done what Tyson Fury kind of said. It's quite, people know now that Tyson's not going to be fighting anybody really serious until 2019. That's clear. Nobody's saying, well, Tyson, why are you not fighting Joshua now? Why are you not fighting Deontay Wilder now? Because we know he's coming back and he's told us, I'm not fighting anybody real. I'm not really going to fight him until 2019. We've heard him talk about Shannon Briggs. Well, that's September. And we've heard him talking about, now he's got this Sefer Seferi fight. So Tyson's sorted there. When you make comments like, yeah, I'm going to do damage to Wilder, I'm going to do all this and that, but it has to be in the UK. There's a but. It has to be in the UK. Well, why does it have to be in the UK? Why does it have to be in the UK? Lennox Lewis didn't say back in the day, well, I'm the WBC champion. I'll defend my titles in the UK. No, he went to America to beat the legendary Evander Holyfield. He went to America to fight the legendary Mike Tyson. Think what you want of those guys. He went to America to do it. Joe Calzaghe traveled from the UK to America to fight Roy Jones, to fight Bernard Hopkins. He went to America. Think what you want of Ricky Hatton. He traveled from the UK to America. Even when he got flattened by Pacquiao and he got flattened by Mayweather, he was still aiming for greatness. When Bruno was WBC champion, he didn't say, I'll fight Mike in the UK. He went to America. Okay, people say different. Joshua is unified champion. Yeah, he's unified champion. But outside of America, outside of the UK, nobody knows Anthony Joshua, really. And outside of but you see, the difference is Wilder's already fought in the UK. Albeit against Audley Harrison, he's fought in the UK. You'll forget that. Wilder's been into the UK already. And he flattened an Olympic gold medalist, a genuine Olympic gold medalist, might I add. And when I say genuine, I mean the fact that Audley won the title. I think he won it, was in Sydney. There was no doubt that Audley won that fight. There was no doubt he won the first or the second or the third round going through. But you know where I am with that. See, if Joshua just kept his mouth shut and not talked about the 50 million, it wouldn't have been a problem. Now, if you remember in the last video I did about this Joshua Wilder thing, I said that I would advise Joshua strongly, even though I'd love to see the fight happen next, I would advise Joshua to swerve Deontay Wilder until he's got to America and he's had a fight in America. Really, he should. He should fight in America, fight anybody in America. I don't care. As long as they've got heartbeat and they've got two fists and a bit of a brain, fight in America. Beat the guy in America and then set up a Deontay Wilder fight. The best thing is, be like a gunslinger. Come into America with your belts and say, you know what? I'm in your town now. I don't care where the fight is going to be held. I'm going to have the fight in America. But there's a problem with that. And here's where the problem lies. You think Joshua is foolish? We know fighters that have gone abroad from the UK into the US. It's a different gravy. A totally different gravy. As it is a totally different gravy when guys come from America to the UK. It's called home advantage. Home advantage, for those who are unaware, home advantage can be with the judges, can be with the referee. The time zone, another thing to worry about as well. You know, when you go into another country, you're going, depending on where the fight is, you can be 8 hours behind if the fight's in California. You know, between 8 hours, the worst be California, 6 to 5 hours. So you got time zone differences. You know, then you've got, if you're fighting someone like Vegas, then you've got altitude to deal with, the heat. If you think I'm joking, talk to Barry McGuigan about the heat when he fought Steve Cruz in the heat. Big world champion Barry McGuigan out in the heat gets done by dehydration. These things you might laugh and scoff at. These are things you take into consideration. Of course, we know about the referee. If Ricky Hatton fought Mayweather in the UK, would have been a different situation. Because for one, the referee that night, I can't remember the referee's name is now, but that referee, Joe Cortez, the famous Joe Cortez, every time Ricky was trying to get close to Floyd, the referee intervened. You think Floyd didn't know anything about that? You think Floyd hadn't studied Hatton's style? Every time Hatton would get close, that's where Hatton did his best work. So the referee comes in, break it up, break it up. So the minute Joshua steps into onto American soil and he agrees to fight, he also agrees to all the shenanigans and nonsense that will happen with Anthony Joshua. That there will be shenanigans, telephone calls early in the morning, all sorts of nonsense, all sorts of games will be played, and they will be played. Believe me, they will be played. Do you know the sort of nonsense I've heard? Potentially, for what it's worth, I'm not suggesting in this fight, drinks being spiked, food being spiked. You know, if you win a fight, you could be done for PEDs. You know, also the stringent testing that may happen in America. You know, before the fight even happens, you may have a situation where Joshua, it comes out that Joshua's on PEDs. I'm not suggesting he is, but what I'm saying to you is, it would be the first time that Deontay Wilder's got himself into a fight and then the person's been caught with PEDs. Now, I'm not suggesting that's the case with Anthony Joshua. Please hear me out here. These are some of the things that can happen. The dirty games that can be played on either side of the fence, not just in America, but in the UK. The UK have got their own fair share of nasty judging and refereeing and all the rest of it. We've seen it. We don't need to talk about it. So that's what it is. Roy Jones has said swerve Wilder. He thinks Wilder for me is an experienced world champion, been around a while as world champion. You know, Joshua's been picking up belts, and that's great. But you know, for me, Joshua needs the time to marinate as a world champion. He needs to come to America. He needs to get a fight in America, get a couple of fights in America, acclimatize, get used to fighting in America, and the showtime and the what is the demands of the television. You know, he's the king. He's the king in the UK. So you can say, I want to do this, I'm going to do that. He's the king. He's Billy Big Balls in the UK, but in the US, he's not like that. And Joshua knows that. So he's aware of what's going on. And he's aware he's a targeted man. Get it straight. He's a targeted man. And he knows also, Joshua knows what happens when guys get beaten in the UK. He knows what happens to fallen athletes in the UK. So he wants to keep that going, that momentum going, because one mistake, and all that praise Joshua and praise Hercules, one mistake in the negotiations, meaning he goes over to America and he might get blitzed anyway. He may. If it happens, it's the aftermath. So everything in his career, and let me tell you something now. Don't think in Joshua's mind he doesn't want to emulate someone like Rocky Marciano and get unbeaten 49 fights. You know, don't think he's not looking at history and thinking Mayweather. Don't think he's not thinking these things, because he's an ambitious type of guy. See, he'll have one eye on records. He'll say to himself, you know what, I want that record. Let me see if there's a way I can negotiate my way around the situation. I do want to fight Wilder. I don't think Joshua's scared of Wilder, the idea, because it's boxing. I think the real prospect of losing all that he's created so far could happen with Wilder. And so therefore, there's no rush to fight Wilder. Where there was a rush to fight Parker on home soil, it's a bit different. Now, in terms of Deontay Wilder, he knows what the UK is about. He's been to the UK. He's fought in the UK. You know, but the fact that Joshua's going to the US, to me, he's in the US to say, you know what, I'm showing my face in the US, but to be honest, I want the fight in the UK. I want the fight in the UK. So I'm just here to tell you all, I want the fight in the UK. Now, this is a question I want to ask. Since Joshua's been making these regular trips to Dubai, how much control of his career does he really have? How much say does he really have in his career? If he's saying, you know what, I don't want to fight in the US, but his handlers say, you're fighting in the US, how deeply involved is Joshua in all these things? These questions are to ask. You know, his regular trips to Dubai, are they business meetings? What do they involve? How much of Joshua's career does he have control of? Who's saying what? Hearn saying he wants it in the UK. Joshua saying he wants it in the UK. Who's pushing it for it to be in the US? You know, how much power does Al have to make the fight happen in the US, to push the fight? Yes, he may be unified champion, but who really is in the power seat? You'd think Joshua's in the power seat because he's making money in the UK, but in America, what's his value like? So the fight against the fight that was meant to happen between himself and Joe Miller in Brooklyn, that was the plan. What's happened to that? What's also happened to the Povetkin fight? So either way you look, there's a problem, because you got a mandatory to face with Povetkin. You were meant to come to Brooklyn to fight Joe Miller, and now you've said, well, for 50 million, I'll fight Wilder. All the moves are talking about Wilder, but Wilder had Brazil. Personally, I would like to see Joshua fight fight Miller, even though I think that's a dangerous fight, as it is. Every fight now is a dangerous fight. Fight Miller, and because Miller's just going to come forward, chucking bombs. And, Miller seems to have a decent chin. He kind of reminds me, in some ways, of Tim Witherspoon. It sounds harsh, but he looks a little bit like Tim Witherspoon. And I just want to see them wild punches catching Joshua. I'm not into this thing of Joshua such a big puncher, he'll knock everybody out in the first round. No, he's a good puncher. But a fight against Miller is dangerous. So he's in danger zone now. There's no more fighting Billy Bobs in the UK. He has to either fight Povetkin, or he has to fight Wilder, or he has to go and fight Miller. To me, marketing wise, he needs to fight Miller. He needs to keep away from Wilder until the end of the year, say come 2019. Get 2 more fights in, make both those fights be in America, get through those 2 fights successfully, and then take on Deontay Wilder in America, because he's used to the time zones. It's not just me who's been saying this. Guys, experienced fighters like Roy Jones Jr. have said this. Mayweather's no mug, never fought in the UK, but he was considered pound for pound number 1. You know what I mean? Still considered pound for pound number 1. Never stepped outside of America to defend the title. Never. Roy Jones, pound for pound. When he was his best, when he was considered pound for pound number 1, never stepped out of America. But all the UK fighters had to go to America to prove their worth. So I'll sort of leave it there for now. So my thoughts, as much as I love to see Joshua versus Wilder, and it makes some business sense, I think the smart thing to do would be to swerve Deontay Wilder and fight in America, a big fight in America, win that fight, and look to fight Wilder in 2019. Whether that will happen or not is a totally different matter altogether. I'm not a fan of this guy or that guy. I'm a fan of the sport, and so therefore the best thing for the sport. Let's see what people are saying. Safana says, shout out from Seattle, brother Ingram. Let's hope we get one step closer to him, the heavyweight fight of the decade. I hope AJ here to talk business, not sightsee. Jordan Baker says, Joshua is so trash. That's why Joshua's scared to come over. Safana says, I think AJ would fight Wilder, but the more and more he's around Eddie, he's starting to sound more like a promoter, not a fighter. Not a good look for him over here. He looks scary. Scary. Reguera says, ref helped Wilder in the Ortiz fight as well. Standing count in the beginning of the round. I spoke about earlier. You seem like you're unbiased. Keep it up so far. You're the only one from over here there. Sifali, yep, you're right, brother Ingram. Percent facts. Hello, fellas. This champion killer. Boy Ingram kicking knowledge. Wilder is overrated. Yeah? Well, who are you going to rate over Wilder at the moment? Long-standing world champion, beat Luis Ortiz. It's kind of getting a bit tiring. Easy work. AJ will drop Wilder. It's round 2 and finish him off in round 3. That's great stuff, but I haven't seen that sort of power in Joshua since he stepped up in class. AJ is going on a big talk show in America, Conan show apparently. Yeah, that's because people need to get to know who Anthony Joshua is, because nobody knows who the hell he is in America, bar people who are boxing fans. Nobody knows who the hell Joshua is. Champion, he's the longest reigning champion who's been singing the same tone since he started. I'm the best and I want to beat the best. So why AJ won't fight him, brother? He will. AJ better listen to brother Ingram. He's dropping 100% facts. Last time I checked, Wilder hasn't had one unification, although he has been world champion for a lot longer than Joshua. And your point is, he holds the best belt in boxing, which is the WBC belt. And while you talk about unification belts, I have to say that Joshua hasn't fought the best fighter in the world at the time, because Klitschko wasn't the best fighter in the world at the time. Just to remind you that Tyson Fury beat Vladimir Klitschko. Just a reminder. So Ortiz was the man at the time. Joshua didn't want any piece of him. Tyson found every way not to fight him. So Joshua didn't want him. Wilder didn't. Klitschko didn't want Ortiz. None of the top heavyweights wanted Ortiz. Wilder fought him. Fights don't get made overnight. Personally, I think the fight is already signed. I did talk about this before. AJ is probably as big as Wilder here in the US. Wilder not even known as Ray Mercer was in 1990. My Mark Wilder tried to fight my boy Parker. Team Parker pulled out. Josh had been scared of Wilder since Barry told him to avoid him 4 years ago. Nah, Ingram, you're reaching. AJ looks at Wilder as easy work in the UK. AJ is only in the US to support Callier fight this weekend, not for Wilder fight. Ingram's on fire. Wow, these are questions I want to hear the answers to. Wilder is to, oh dear. Well, I'm not here to listen to your thoughts about what you think of Wilder. Not interested in it whatsoever. Keep that stuff and put it on another channel. Not interested in what you think of Wilder. The facts are he's WBC champion. The facts are he fought the best man in the division. I don't hear anybody talking about it. Joshua didn't want to fight Ortiz when he was a mandatory to fight Ortiz. He went and fought somebody else. We called it a unification bout, but let's be honest, there's no way that Parker is as good a fighter as Luis Ortiz. Let that be told. Nah, he needs to fight competition. Roy Jones is Russian now. He never fought in the UK, so he can't talk what he didn't do. There's a reason why he didn't do what he did. He didn't do it. He didn't travel to the UK, and he was advising Joshua not to fight in the US. Well, he knows. RJJ know what it's like because remember he got robbed in the Olympics. Remember that, or you got a short memory? I thought you said the other day the fight was already made. Bullshitter. Why is the fight not being made? Why is the fight not already made? Mate, I tell you what, you're calling me a bullshit and your name's Beef Burger. Really? Take a good look in the mirror, son. Take a good look in the YouTube mirror. If Wilder's overrated, no one would say he would fight Miller first. Ingram, did you know Wilder is currently suspended? And do you know why? I don't know. Is he really suspended? Or is that Chris Wilder? Wilder's very known. It's not just spoken about. Shaq knows Denzel Washington. He went on the Breakfast Club. That reaches the entire nation. It does. And I've got full respect to the Breakfast Club. One of my favorite shows indeed. And the Breakfast Club is definitely an inspiration for where we're going in the near future. Stay tuned. Yeah. Regards, the fact of the matter is this. Think what you want. A lot of people will dismiss Deontay Wilder. If Deontay Wilder is such a shit fighter, then why is Joshua fighting him? Some people really do talk absolute garbage. They talk absolute garbage. If Wilder's a garbage fighter, then why should Joshua fight him? Well, it's a waste of time. Why are you even listening to my conversation? You don't make sense. So Wilder's a garbage fighter. Why does half the world want to see one garbage fighter fight another garbage fighter? That just don't make logical sense. He's a garbage fighter, but you've tuned in and watched his fights, yeah? Why are you watching garbage? I thought garbage was for garbage. I don't understand. Some people don't make sense. And these are sort of people I really don't try and have conversation with in boxing because their logics don't make sense. They don't make sense whatsoever. They have no idea of the understanding of the history of the sport of boxing. So I can, very quick to call people garbage. But, but I'm not going to knock a man's achievements. He's achieved a lot in the sport of boxing, Deontay Wilder, and needs to be respected. Because if we keep disrespecting our fighters, then you're making a mockery of the sport, and you are actually contributing to bringing the downfall of the sport. Because if everybody you talk about is garbage and crap and this and that, and a hype job and this and that, and basically the boxing world is full of hype jobs, and very quick to call people bums. These are some people that come on YouTube that call people bums, but they can't even bring their real name on YouTube. These are people that come on YouTube with funny synonyms or aliases, but can't put their real name on YouTube. And then they've got the cheek to go around calling other people bums. These are two guys that are at the top of the sport, the top of the game, that I think we need to see fight. Two guys. But then the same people will turn around and call Wilder a bum for fighting consistently and keeping the title for a long time, are the same people who will turn around and say Tyson Fury is the greatest thing since sliced bread. See, I just, sometimes people use the word bum about a fighter because they don't want to get involved. People don't want to get involved what we really know is going on is sometimes racial slurs, which is what's really going on. But they won't come out and say it, directly come out and say it. That's what it is. They won't come out and say it, say I behind calling people bums and useless and terrible and stuff like that. And the guys that they support and they back, you look at their resume, it's not very good. So don't tell me the guy who's top of the division, the WBC champion, who beat the bogeyman, that Joshua had no interest in fighting him. I tell you how this sounds like. Remember when Klitschko was reigning world champion and everyone said that Tyson was a bum? Remember that? And there's people in this room now who are calling Tyson a bum, right? Calling Tyson a bum. They're the same guys that are now kissing his ass and saying he's the best thing since sliced bread. Fickle people in boxing. And I don't know why we listen to them. I don't know why we pay no mind. I tell you something, if you actually had a track record of people that come on YouTube and you took a list of the people and make the comments of what they said and the things they put down, you have to question. I think I might do is these people make these comments because they're quick to come on my channel and say, blah, 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 you're shit, you're this, you're that. What I'm going to do is start taking these names down, start taking names. And when you start taking names down, start taking names of what their prediction fights are, how they break down a fight, and then start looking at their resume on YouTube, see what their resume is like on YouTube. But half of them are going missing. Then if they start getting called bums and asking their resume about how they predict fights or how they break a fight down, I start saying, oh, you're a bum. You'll see how quickly people respond and have a little bit more respect for other people. Two guys trying to put their lives on the line to bring us a good fight. The heavyweight division has always been the spectacle of the sport for those who don't know. So when you're sitting around calling the WBC heavyweight champion of the world a bum, right? You are calling the pinnacle of the sport, which is the heavyweight division, the top guy who holds the green belt, a bum. A long reigning world champion, a bum. And that's what you're doing. So put that in perspective to the next guy who you're calling Hercules is going to fight a bum. It's it really is shameful how people conduct themselves on YouTube and their mindset. It's a real shame. It's people don't understand the history of the sport, don't appreciate what is the sport. And yeah, I'm sick and tired. I'm fed up of it. Do you know what? I really am fed up of it. It's just, but it's mostly people who don't understand the sport that come out this garbage. What's shameful are fans who say they won't watch it in Vegas at 5 a.m. You either live the game or not. These people are full of shit. These are the same people said that wouldn't watch Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, but could tell you the result at the end. These are the same people that will turn around and say to you, I'm not watching Floyd's fights, or I'm not watching this fight, I'm not watching that fight, but will blatantly pay-per-view it. Or some of these numbskulls come on my channel and they come on for YouTube and they come on when I'm commentating and say, it says audio commentary, and they go, can you send us a link, mate? Why is the video not showing? That's the sort of numbskulls we've got today on across the YouTube galaxy that we look to for our guidance in the sport. Absolute numbskulls. I totally agree, mate. So many channels calling boxers names. Wilder isn't my favorite, but a lot of disrespect from UK fans towards him. How can I have kids? How can I stay up until 5 a.m? LOL, not a chance. Well, good. That's why you've got a thing called the record button. You can record it, watch it the next morning. I will add this point. The difference between a lot of you out there and myself is that I was one of the first people. That called out Deontay Wilder and said, you're fighting a bunch of taxi drivers and a bunch of bums. And until you fight somebody decent, I'm sorry, I'm not hailing you as a great fighter. And I said it to him. And he basically responded. So he knows who I am, very well aware of who I am. But since that point, he beat Stavern, he beat Ortiz. When he beat Ortiz, I said, you know what? This guy, well, before he beat Ortiz, said, this guy is dangerous. And you know what? He's come a long way since the days of when he got knocked down by was it Dustin something? I can't remember the name's guy, completely overweight guy. He got knocked down by. Since those days, Deontay Wilder's come a long way. A long way. You know, so I think you need to give Deontay Wilder a hell of a lot of, and if you know boxing, if you really know boxing, you'll see that he actually is he's got some decent boxing ability. You don't beat Lewis Ortiz if you're a bum. Okay? That means if he's a bum, then there's a few other fighters in the heavyweight division that are bums as well. Lewis Ortiz is a good fighter. Deontay Wilder's a better fighter, and he's got a deadly right hand. So, you know, there's no pleasing some boxing fans. Let's be honest. You want knockouts? Look to Deontay Wilder. You want skill? You want a guy who can, okay, then support Tyson Fury. If you don't like Deontay Wilder because he's a windmill, support Tyson Fury. Oh no, you're not going to support Tyson Fury because he can't punch. That's a lot of rubbish as well. I support Tyson Fury because he moves around too much. He's not like, he doesn't knock people out. So you got Joshua. There you go to Joshua. Oh, I don't like Joshua. Why don't you like Joshua? Oh, he's boring. He's got no personality. What the hell do you want? What does your perfect fighter look like? Do you know there's some of these idiots in the room that would call Sugar Ray Robinson a bum because he had about the amount of losses he had in his record? Just idiotic. So my response, my situation, my thoughts on Joshua being across the world with Wilder is that he needs to be known in America. He really does need to be known in America. And he needs to be known soon in America. I think it's important, and I think it's important that he makes defense in America. In terms of big fight event, it should have been at Wembley just so I could attend, LOL. Yeah, well, I get that. I see that. But if there's a rematch clause in the contract, then yeah, maybe. But how about this? Maybe Joshua doesn't want a rematch clause in the contract. Hence why if he fights in the UK and he gets rid of if he gets rid of Wilder, as a lot of you people say Wilder's so rubbish in a couple of rounds, which is not going to happen, by the way, because what you're basically saying is Joshua's going to go against the grain. I mean, if he was safety first against Joseph Parker, you think he's just going to go charging in there against Wilder? I don't think so. With a guy that can put you to sleep with one shot, I think you guys forget about Sergey Lakovic, or maybe against what he did to Ortiz with one shot, or you forget what he did against Svilka. One punch, baby. This ain't a combination of punches. One shot will put his lights out. And I'm not talking about a gun shy of Vladimir Klitschko when he knocks you down. He's not sure if he wants to knock you out or he wants to hold you. I'm talking about a guy, Wilder, that if he hits you and you fall down, he's going to finish you off. He's going to hurt you. Okay? I was going for Stavern in the first fight. I thought Wilder had no back foot game, no jab. I lost $50 on that fight. He's way better now, and he's getting more confident, by the way. Wilder's a bad man. Of course. Wilder is poor in all fights until he goes for the kill. Then he's the most dangerous fighter in boxing. Well, no. Then no, he is the most dangerous heavyweight in boxing. Period. He's just the most dangerous heavyweight in boxing. Most dangerous. And you know what? They forgot Ortiz came at him and Wilder hit him whilst on the back foot. Ortiz hit the ropes. I know a lot of these people don't know what they're talking about. Help me. Wilder's jab is better than Femi's. Of course it is. Wilder's extremely dangerous. I said it before. Extremely dangerous. And with that right hand, he doesn't just he doesn't just potentially knock Joshua out. Sponsorship deals, then the road to recovery. And you all just think for today, for tomorrow. This is a guy's career can be cut short by Deontay Wilder with one right hand. You don't understand the rebuilding, the restructuring process. You don't realize that Anthony Joshua, if he gets destroyed by Wilder, may never come back the same fighter. There have been fighters we know, well-known fighters that have done well until they get beaten. And then when they get beaten, their invincibility goes and they are no longer the same fighter. And one right hand from Wilder can put the whole of AJ's 1 billion plan to run for the next 10 years as champion. One right hand. Canelo rebelled. Canelo did not get knocked out. Do not talk rubbish. Canelo did not get knocked out. Canelo got beat by, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world. Pound for pound, one of the greatest fighters in the last 10, 15 years. Don't talk rubbish. Canelo was a young man who everyone knew who was fighting Floyd Mayweather. Deontay Wilder is considered a bum by many, so I don't think so somehow. And Mayweather doesn't punch with the sort of power that Wilder does. Have you actually watched what Deontay Wilder does to opponents? Go back and watch the Lajkovic fight again. Go back and look at that fight, and you tell me. And when you talk about pedals to fall from in British boxing, this is truth here. You don't get it. When Joshua falls, he's gonna fall harder than possibly, maybe as hard as someone like George Best. And that's a hard fall. But he might fall even harder than all of them, because all those guys back then didn't have Instagram, didn't have Facebook and Twitter, didn't have the sort of people in media now that they have now, the heartless people. I'm telling you, if Wilder's the more athletic fighter, he's more athletic, he's got faster hands, he's more flexible, he's got the bigger punch. Let me tell you something now. If that right hand catches a Joshua who moves in straight lines and doesn't move his head, that right hand lands, let me tell you something, in a blink of an eye, boom. And you think David Beckham had a hard time, talking to UK fans, you think David Beckham had a hard time when he messed up in that World Cup? You ain't seen nothing yet. The fall that they're setting this lad up for is unbelievable. Has Joshua reached his ceiling beating Klitschko and Parker? I don't know, but we're going to find out if he fights Wilder. If he gets to Wilder. I'm telling you, this is a disaster waiting to happen, and it's going to happen. And you wait. Mark my words. When the British media get a hold of Joshua, if he gets out and he gets thumped by Wilder, you wait. You wait. All those hangers-ons are going to go when he has to rebuild his credit. You wait and see. So he's, Wilder, Joshua ain't stupid. What if Wilder doesn't hurt AJ? Mate, I don't know what Wilder, you might be talking about John Wilder or Frank Wilder. Tell me up holding that Deontay Wilder's fought and he's not hurt. And then come back, go through the record and tell me which fight he didn't hurt. Come back and we'll continue the conversation. Bro, they say AJ's still learning. So after the KO, he will have to rebuild. His sponsors are counting on him. I'm just kidding. Hey, listen, he's got pressure, man. He's got pressure. If AJ don't take the rematch, another duck, he's toast. There are worse fighters than AJ can lose than to Wilder. If AJ loses to Wilder, it's not the end of the road. Both rated 1 and 2. So if either loses, they can definitely come again. Yeah, standing 8 count. Really? They can come again based on what? I just said to you not even like 5 minutes ago that fighters, not everybody can come back. That's what makes the difference between a good fighter and a great fighter. Not everybody can do what Lennox Lewis did, which is come back and beat the guys that beat him. Not everybody can do that. AA, unconventional, orthodox, unpredictable is brilliant. Being a fan of Wilder since the Harrison fight. Ironically, AJ was inside ringside that fight, so he's seen that right hand up close, and it's no joke. There you go. Will you give Joshua props if he beats Wilder? Listen to me, Adrian. Understand well. If you've listened to this from the start of my conversation, I'm not a fan of Joshua. I'm not a fan of Wilder. I'm a fan of boxing. So I'm the one who's defending both fighters. Joshua has 2 hands, though. Yeah, so did Lajkovic. So did Stavern. So did Ortiz. I hope, Mr. Boxing today, I hope this trip is to finalize the fight. Well, we hope so too. Mr. Boxing Today, good to see you in the room, brother. Do you know the reason why? Reason why Wilder has been suspended? But to me, it's a smart thing. It's a very smart thing if he is suspended, because boxing's a funny old game. If he is suspended, it's good. You know why it's good? It allows Joshua to possibly say, oh, well, Deontay, we were going to make the fight, but Deontay got suspended. So therefore now, we're going to move ahead and fight Miller in Brooklyn. Got caught weird again. AJ never really knocks anyone out. Mostly referee stoppage. I agree with that there. He won't be suspended, bro. Trust me, he's not suspended since 8 count. TBV says the fight's in LA. Not sure that makes sense. I thought the fight was going to be at the T-Mobile Arena. I think Joshua has the character to handle even greater adversity. I think he understands the truth within himself and comes to terms with even a devastating loss. Really? Really? Well, I hope that Mr. Joshua shares those beliefs. But the way that, if it depends on how Wilder beats him. If it's a close affair, maybe. But if he gets, remember, if you go back and look at that fight with Klitschko, he was doing all right, and then what happened? Klitschko leveled him, and if Klitschko closed the fight there and then, just imagine that right hand coming from Deontay Wilder, different outcome. Boxrec does that all the time. Apparently, a fighter has been through a tough fight. I'll have to give Mr. Morellino a call and find out what's going on there. They only suspend you when you get knocked out. Interesting. This is the same Boxrec we've got to remember that has Jeff Horn as a pound for pound fighter. So remember, just remember that. So because Boxrec says it doesn't mean it's completely accurate. Just look at their top 10 and you tell me if that top 10 reflects what's going on in the world today. So I'm not going to go around in circles about this whole Joshua Wilder thing. Joshua should be, and you know what? Boxing fans should be demanding Joshua to fight Wilder in America. You know why? For the whole, boxing is still, America is still the mecca of boxing. I don't care how much money they make in the UK. America is still the mecca of boxing. I don't care. It's still the mecca of boxing. He needs to. People saying USA is still the mecca of boxing. There's nothing like Las Vegas, Madison Square Garden. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fighting at the Garden. You can't. You just. That's what it is. I'm not going to sit down and have people tell me that the UK is the mecca of boxing because Eddie Hearn says so. What? USA is the mecca of boxing. The mecca of boxing. Wembley shits over all of the other. Really? Really? Really, bro? It's like demanding an A-lister to act in the UK and forget Hollywood. It don't happen like that. No, it has history, but US boxing is dying. Okay. Wilder can fight in the UK, but the referee should be American. No, Stanley, it can't. He didn't. Who said he did? Nothing like a big heavyweight fight in Vegas. Thank you very much. Or Madison Square Garden. Listen. Once pay-per-view dies out, it's finished. Yeah, why? I guess so. Why? There's so much history steeped in the US. There's nothing better than seeing when Kawasaki went to the US to fight, when Hatton went to the US to fight, when Lennox Lewis went to become heavyweight champion of the world, really to be recognized as the man. You've got to think of a global audience. The UK, do you know how many times the UK can fit into America? You could fit the UK into America. You could fit the UK into Chicago probably 5 times over. Just think that a second. Just think that a second. And a fight between, look, if okay, let me put it this way. If If the UK is such a and remember, Floyd Mayweather is the ultimate money man in boxing. If the UK is such a big mecca, why did Floyd never fight in the UK? Why did Floyd never bring his ass to the UK if he thought he could make more money in the UK? Why did Pacquiao and Floyd fight in America, not in the UK? Huh? Tell me. Explain that to me. Three belts got to come with privileges. What? Yeah, really? Honestly? Really? Laugh my head off. Fans are trying to wish Vegas away. Of course they are. Bad guy. Yep, we need the fight. Keep wishing. What's up, Mr. Boxing Today? My brother, how are you? It's always good to see you in the room. See, when you have Mr. Boxing Today in the room, you know it's on. Too much history in Americas. Right, yeah, there's too much history. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of you who say, "Nah, forget America." When did you start watching boxing? Do you know, Hagler Hearns, going back those days, going even back before then. The history of boxing is so steep, and it's just so much. And the UK fighters went to America to really make their name, and I don't think that changes. It really doesn't change. You know. Hello, England, brother. I hope all is well. Thank you, Joey. I will. And by the way, I'll probably be back on FM tonight. The channel's back up. So I think that's it. UK will never be the mecca of boxing. Like, it just won't be. I just can't see it. American boxing is running on fumes of past greats. Really? So let me tell you, how many greats have you got in the UK? Talk to me about the great fighters you've got in the UK. Bring them up. Bring them up, and you talk about greats. Let's go. Talk to me about legends UK. Ingram is on a thing today, shooting nothing but facts. Great damn boxing talk. Talk to me who these greats are in the UK. How many great fighters have we got in the UK today? Not winning vacant belts. Tell me how many, and not title holders. Those who fight the best fighters week in, week. They fight the best fighters all the time. Talk to me, man. Ingram, the boxing voice. Mean to sure have more AJ fans will travel from than Hatton fans did for the Mayweather fight. I am not so sure. How about you? For me, Hatton has the one of us following. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I tell you how boxing fans are in the UK. Yeah, let me tell you the truth about boxing fans in the UK. There are a lot of broke fans in the UK. Right? This is what I mean. This is the truth talk here, real talk. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Dillian White." Okay, so why is it that Dillian White, if you've got so many fans of Dillian White, why are they then getting their ass from the UK to go and fight, watch him in America fight against Malcolm Tan? Tell me, if America's dying so much, then Dillian White should be able to just walk over to America and just fight the best guys over there. Why do you have to fight Malcolm Tan? Okay, I'm just waiting for the answer then. If UK is such the mecca of boxing now, why don't our UK guys just walk over to America and demand the big fights? Huh? Because what they do in the UK is fine, but in America they are unknown. Look at the size of the UK to the US and the global markets between the two. Man, are you boxing fans like, oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Dillian White? Okay, so how many fans went with Dillian White over to America then? Huh? Why did Hatton have to take his ass from the UK? He was making lots of money. He had a massive fan base in the UK. Why do you have to take his ass out to America to go and fight Mayweather? Although he beaten Costazu in the UK. Huh? Why do you have to go to fight Pacquiao in America? Why? Why is White doing in his hometown, and what are US fighters doing? Can't sell 15,000 tickets. Klitschko brothers fought here in Vegas and New York. Great, so US past, not UK. We are talking about popularity of sport, not skill here. Popularity. So, okay, I just gave you the popularity. Dillian White's a popular guy in the UK, and he's a popular guy over on YouTube. But does that converse to being popular in America? Talk to me. Bring me the facts. AJ, White, Hay, Joyce, Dubois, Huey, etc. American heavyweight boxing is pretty piss poor at the moment. You've got names. You've got names. Yeah, you've got names, but you need names to fight names. And okay. So let's go for the names. AJ never fought in America. White fought against Malcolm Tan. Hey, he fought in America, but he fought. Was it Playboy Mansion? Stayed in the UK. Joyce still fighting in the UK. Dubois is young, still fighting in the UK. Huey fought in Canada. So we'll see. If the UK is the mecca of boxing, why would Eddie Hearn be taking Matchroom to the USA? Thank you very much. If Eddie Hearn listened to some of you guys in here, there would not be a Matchroom USA. If the USA are not that important and it's not the mecca of boxing, why is he going to take on Danny Jacobs and Gordon Simon, Joe Miller? Because he just wants to. And he wants to set up how many shows in America? And then $1 billion deal. Did that happen through the UK or did it happen through America? Talk to me, man. Come on. Talking crap. I think we get bullshitters by all these padded records, especially on Sky shows. All the great amateur Matchroom signings signed, then 15 fights, still fighting people 15, 20, and 2 records. I agree. He said great names. LOL. Thank you. I wish AJ would come out and show more heart and stay in the States or London. He knocks Wilder out cold. He's looking bad. Or let and Hearn make him look bad at present. Every fighter should want to fight in the States. Every fighter should want to fight in the States. Every UK fighter should want to fight in the States. They always talk about, oh, I want to win the Olympic championships, or I want to go and fight in the world championships. Why? Because it has a global market, because everybody gets to see them. Time will tell, but US boxing is not in a good place. Really? Really? PBC is not good boxing? What's his name? It's just what's it? Bob Arum of Top Rank. I think US boxing is in a decent place, my friend. Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Errol Spence. That's 4 already. Terence Crawford. That's 5. That's 5 already. That's 5 American fighters already. Damn. AJ Wilder, maximum money's in the US. Everybody who's done the numbers knows the maximum money's made in America. Now, that's another thing. You guys also don't take into consideration. Think about things like the NBA and the Super Bowl and stuff like that. Imagine having Wilder versus Joshua in an advertisement during the Super Bowl. My God, do you know how much money that would make? I think you should check again. I'm not talking about the growth of the sport. I'm talking about the growth of the sport, not the matchups. Snooker, crucible, darts, alley pally, golf, St Andrews, boxing, Vegas. Imagine if America gets behind Wilder, he would dwarf. Of course he would. The only problem with the situation is Wilder is not being supported by the American public at the moment. Telling you. But you see, if you have to look at the guys who'd have to go behind Wilder, there's a deeper message there. Who would these sponsors be and what would they look like? Just asking. You notice when Pacquiao and Mayweather got all these sponsors involved, yeah? You saw how dull that press conference was. Was because people, the corporate sponsors that involved in there, didn't really understand the concept of boxing. They want to be nice and clean and tidy, and boxing's not about that. That's why that press conference was one of the most boring press conferences ever. While there isn't dormant with the US public, they're not gonna all of a sudden get behind him, being a champion for ages and still no name. Outside of AJ, who is UK world champion level? Good question. Listen, they might not get behind him. Should he ice Joshua and he becomes undisputed champion, does he really need anyone to get behind him? Honest. If he ices, did somebody just say Josh Warrington? Oh my God. Oh my God. Josh Warrington. Oh my God. Here's another guy, Carl Frampton. That's another example. Carl Frampton. I love Carl Frampton. But what did he have to do? Where did he fight Lewis Santa Cruz? It wasn't in Belfast, was it? It wasn't in the UK, was it? He had to go to the mecca of boxing, America, to fight Leo Santa Cruz. Okay? We've got to also remember, if you've ever been to America, it's quite obvious that boxing is not the only sport that's out there. They've got American football, they've got baseball, they've got basketball, they've got so many other sports. They've got the UFC as well. Really? Come on, man. I like Warrington, man. I like Warrington. I like what he did against Selby, but I'd like to see how he does against somebody like against Jack Gay, Russell Jr., or Leo Santa Cruz. Those are guys I'd like to see what he does. Josh Warrington has won the English, British, European, Commonwealth, WBC Silver, IBF champion, 27 fights, and a whole city behind him. That's great. That's fantastic. And Josh's accomplishments should be well celebrated. So he's gone through the ranks. NBA playoffs right now. You're lucky to get others to watch boxing right now. There you go. There you go. But who do you blame for that? Is the sport dying? Is it the promoters that are the problem? Is it the fans, some of these idiotic fans we've got? That's what the problem is. I think the fans are half the problem. Right. So Tyson Fury, Joshua, White, Dubois, Hughie Fury. That's what we've got in the UK in the heavyweight division. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Stick any of those guys you've mentioned there, including Joshua, stick them on a bill now and say, right, we're going to put you out in Vegas. Just put you out to fight. How many people are going to be interested in seeing these guys fight? Do you think Joshua could sell at Madison Square Garden? Based on what? Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders. Wait. Listen, I love Billy Joe Saunders. He's had one fight that people have turned up and said, okay, this guy can fight. What? Now he's become a superhero. That makes Billy Joe Saunders a great, does it? Come on. Ask them when England's playing in the World Cup, will they switch off and play boxing if they were on the same? I mean, even Eddie Hearn's aware of it. Let him try and put on his matchroom fights during the World Cup. See how well they sell. Wilder took Wilder 30-odd journeymen to build a name in the US. AJ would only need 3 maximum. Oh my God. You obviously are definitely new to the sport of boxing, Ruben. That's absolute garbage. Lennox Lewis, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I talk shit. I talk shit. Talk your shit. I'll talk your shit. Thank you. Listen, Lennox Lewis, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. How many fights did he have? He had to beat up Holyfield. He had to beat up Tyson. He had to go for Michael Grant. He had to beat Briggs. And the Americans didn't want to recognize him. Evander Holyfield, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, knocked out Buster Douglas more or less with one shot. Came up from cruiserweight up to heavyweight. And it took him a while before he was even recognized as a proper heavyweight. Oh, he's too small, or he's got no personality. I remember watching Holyfield fight, and people saying, "Oh, Holyfield's this, and oh, he's not great," because they all wanted Tyson back. All right, so Tyson was the guy that got the media attention, but because a lot of you probably don't understand this, Mike Tyson's reputation was built on fighting guys that nobody knew about. But Bill Caton and the people behind Tyson at the time said, you know what? Even if you fight as bum of the week, the image of seeing this guy rampaging through a division, knocking all these guys out, nobody cares about what he looks, who these fighters are, but the image in the mind of this guy knocking people out will terrify people in the division. That is how Tyson became that name. And he was managed by some great people, by Bill Caton. They knew what they were, Bill Caton, they knew what they were doing. It all went wrong. We all know when it went wrong. Dear me. Flip's sake. Don't tell me about Joshua. Don't tell me about Joshua, man. Joshua's going to come to America and in 3 fights. Yeah, really. Because if that was the case, well, why didn't he do it already? Why has he not fought in America already? If it's that easy. Man, some people talk some crap. Are you doing World Cup soon? Probably, mate. Probably will do. In the US, you need 2 high-profile names. AJ's fortunate to be successful in predictable fights. I like Dubois, but please, no talk of Dubois, no talk of Hugh Fury, and definitely no talk of Tyson Fury. This is Joshua Wilder. Don't want to talk about anybody else. No Kell Brook, nobody else. Lewis had to clear that division to be loved. There we go. Ingram, if you were Kell Brook's manager and had total say in his career from now on, how would you pan it out? Not fight Joe Hurd. That's the first thing. I think he should have fought Hurd. Brook should have fought Hurd instead of fought Golovkin, or instead of fought what's his name? What's this guy now? What's this guy's name now? Ah, shoot, Spence. He should never have fought Spence. He should have given the belt up and gone and fought Hurd at the time. That's what I think. As for now, for Brook, he should chase that Amir Khan fight. Boy, he should chase that fight down, because chase that Khan fight down, or he should have fought Ali. I would have jumped in and fought Ali at the time. He wants to keep well away from that guy who's the champion now. Keep well away from that guy who's the champion now. Muninga, what is this? The guy that went and blasted out Ali. And Stephen Smith obviously wants to get beat up, because he's proper cannon fodder for him. Telling you. No, he means do your thing, Ingram. You teach a class right now. You're dropping knowledge. The biggest sports stars in America, NBA players. Of course they are. No doubt about it. But I think if I was going to promote Joshua versus Wilder, I would have the fight. I would have it kind of like a trailer for it during the Super Bowl. That's how you do it. And then what I would do is have Joshua, I would have Wilder, and I have like how they did it. Like, remember when Ben, I don't know if, for you American fans, I don't know if you ever saw it, when Ben and Eubank were having their rematch. And I had both guys on this chat show, separate times, but they were talking on his chat show about what it means to win a fight. So, and for me, if I'm going to stage the fight, honestly, I know you think I'm talking crap here, yeah? But I wouldn't have the fight in Vegas. Here, listen to me out here. I would not have the fight in Vegas. I would not have the fight in UK. I would have the fight in Africa. What? Africa? Why Africa? I think Africa is an amazing place to have the fight. Maybe not Nigeria, for obvious reasons. Africa, Dubai, Egypt, just somewhere in Africa. I would have the fight in Africa for many reasons. For many reasons. 2 brothers, and I'm saying it as it is, 2 brothers fighting for their undisputed heavyweight champion of the world in Africa. Lennox Lewis went to fight Hassim. I say, you know what? Okay, Josh. Okay, Josh. I just corrected. If we're gonna, I'll explain the Dubai thing in a second. Okay, Josh. We understand. This is how I negotiate. Okay, Josh. We understand. We understand you don't want the fight in America. I know the judges, right? I know the referee, right? Okay. I'll tell you how we'll do, right? We'll have a British judge, yeah? But we'll have a British referee. So you can have the British ref, but it's going to be in Africa. But it's not going to be in Nigeria, but we're going to have to fight in Africa. You know? Putting an opportunity for people in Africa, you know, this sort of thing. Why not? You know, it'd be a great thing. That's how I do it. And then that way, if you did that, right, that would be You can't get out of that one because you get in the fight. You're not fighting. You're not fighting the US. You're not fighting the UK. It's neutral ground. It gets a new audience in Africa as well. The Rumble in the Jungle, Part 2, Joshua versus Wilder. So there you go. What's up, brother? Cali Enigma, LDBC in the house. Respect, fam. Respect to you, brother. Yes, Deontay Wilder is Nigerian too, but gets no love from Nigerians. Well, that's unfortunate. Cape Town showdown. Yeah, no, I don't know about Cape Town. I don't know. Johannesburg. And you know what? If I had it, I would have it, and I'd have it with like a Nelson Mandela Cup, like a WBC Nelson Mandela, like a gold cup or something. Do you know what I mean? And money from that goes towards somewhere in Africa that needs a couple of million can get thrown to a place in Africa where the money is going to be used to do reconstruction or whatever, where it's needed most. Were you talking about the Ben Eubank head-to-head where they had James Toney on the live feed? No. I'm talking about the live show that they had a show in the audience. It was an evening with Ben and Eubank. And it was like they showed that show before the big fight where they had both fighters talking with the audience about how it felt about the fight. It was a recorded event. But it was really good and it had just before the big fight. Really good. So I think the fight should be in Africa. But there's another thing. The reason why I said Dubai is only because of the option that Joshua says, I don't want to fight in the US. Okay, fine. No problems, Josh. We'll take the fight to Dubai. But you know what? Then I would throw in, but you know what? I kind of see the angle here that I see you and Wilder fighting in Africa. That'd be great. Respect and love for all you brothers doing this for the sport, Cali. Appreciate. Shout out to the LDBC community, of course, doing their thing, and much love. So blood boxing returns recommended to this channel, LDBC. I definitely need to get blood boxing in. I need to get it. I've had his email address. I need to get an evening with blood. That's blood boxing was one of those guys I watched when I started in YouTube. Started watching YouTube boxing, so I got a lot of respect for him. I'll probably be a hell of a lot more money in Dubai. Yeah, but yeah, I'd like to see the money. Okay, for those who are in the knowledge and enlightened will understand what I'm saying here. I'd like to see the money made going back into the community. All right. I don't see the money if it's done in Dubai. I don't see the money going back into the community. If this is the purpose, the money going into Dubai, I don't see that going back into the community. I don't know. US. If Joshua don't want to fight in the US, then okay, fine. If you don't want it in the US, give me your email address and I'll get it to him. Oh, how am I going to do that, bro? How can I do that? How can I get him? How do I do it? Never would happen, though. What do you mean it would never happen? Of course it could happen. Of course it could happen. Well, so Ali and Foreman didn't happen. Man, that's what I'm talking about now. People don't understand the history of the sport. Why wouldn't it happen? Post it in the chat. Oh, yeah, that would be a smart thing. When I have all sorts of people emailing me then. Well, actually, I can do, actually. Do you think AJ wants to fight in the UK due to drug testing in USA? Cuz, great to see you in the room, Cuz. Shout out to my man, King Keston. That's my cousin in the room there. My man, he's got the hookups. Kid Chocolate, Vladimir Klitschko, worked with Hulk Hogan. Man, listen, Cuz, yeah, it would never happen. Of course it would happen. Do you think the drug testing thing with Joshua obviously is a concern for many people, but Had to make an appearance. Yeah, I'm talking about US and UK. People are saying, cuz, that the US in here, I think in the US is not the mecca of boxing. I disagree with them. I also think, guys, that the fight should be not in America if Joshua doesn't want to fight in America, but I think it should be in Africa. I really think it should be in Africa. And put that money back. I really do. 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 And whether that to be put in Africa to set up in opportunity for them to build a good facility for boxing facility for young people in Africa to be able to go and train there. That should be a fight in Africa. Joshua and Wilder should do it. It's mutual ground. Have the fight in Africa. Even have the rematch in Africa. Why should it be in Africa? I thought AJ was meant to be British. Listen, neutral ground, Africa. Simple as, and it'd be great. It will bring the economy. It'd be great for the economy in Africa. I nominate Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. Okay. Okay, possibly Zimbabwe would be good. I nominate Wakanda. He wouldn't be where he would be where he was if it wasn't for the British tax. I don't want to hear any of that. I don't want to hear any of that, honestly. I really don't. I really don't want to hear about that. I would like to see it happen in Africa because both of them are African. That's it. That's it. Truth be said, I don't hear anything about that. The fact of the matter is he has, and he's British taxpayer, and he's put a lot of money into the UK, right? So AJ's British when he wins, Africa when he loses. Digest that, of course. So if I were AJ, and you remember, AJ is half and half. He's made it quite clear. He's got the Nigerian flag and he's got the British flag because he knows what's going to happen to him. He knows what's going to happen with him. And, as far as I'm concerned, I'll put it out there. I want the fight in Africa. I don't want to hear it in America. I don't want to have it in UK, Africa. And I hope the guys are listening, right? I hope they are listening. I'd like to make the fight in Africa. Damn it. He was British when he was coming up, Africa when he got a few quick. No, Peter, let me check you here. He's British when he's winning, and he's African when he loses. And this is a fact. This is a fact. This is just typical of the typical journalism we have in the UK. Remember when John Barnes was doing well for England? He was okay when he was doing well for England. When he didn't play well for England, it was the Jamaican-born John Barnes. Remember that. If Dillian White wins the heavyweight championship of the world, he'll be Dillian White, British-born Dillian White, or British Dillian White. If Dillian White loses, right, he'll be the Jamaican Dillian White. I'm telling you, I'm not asking, I'm telling you, this is the truth. And you don't want to hear the truth. It is what it is. It is what it is. So Joshua versus Wilder, it is what it is. It's okay. It's always okay for people to have an opinion. To have an opinion about something when they're not affected by it. It's okay. If it's like me sticking myself in me being roasted or put in a hot bath, a really hot bath, and my skin's peeling, and you tell me, you know what, you just turn the water up a bit more. And then when I stick your ass in the hot water, you think, no, turn the hot water down. Those who understand the heat, understand the temperature, and understand what needs to be done. So I think the fight should damn well happen in Africa. All these big fights in America, all these big fights in the UK, let it happen in Africa. Let Africa have a little touch and taste of it. Yeah. It's obvious that some of the people on here will turn on AJ when he loses a fight. Of course. So let him lose the fight in Africa if he's going to lose it. LOL. It's so funny that after all these years, you still can't help but being brutally honest. LOL. Of course. It is what it is. Andy Murray earned his same Scottish when he loses British when he won in Wimbledon. LOL. They tell it as it is. What time would the fight be on TV if it's Nigeria? I think only a few. I think Nigeria is either the same time as us or a few hours earlier. I don't think it's American time. Somebody can check there. Somebody could Google the Nigerian time for me now. Okay, the African time in Africa. And I don't want to fight in Nigeria. No, I do not want to fight in Nigeria. I don't want it in Nigeria. Forget Nigeria. Forget Nigeria. Not Nigeria. Anyway, but Nigeria. Where was the? Yeah, was Ghana? Accra, Ghana. That would be a great place. Khan wasn't British all the time. He was smart. Nigeria has the same time as the US. Ghana. Check Ghana. Check Ghana. Check Ghana. If fight, I like it. Accra, Ghana. Ghana would be a great place. Ghana would be a fantastic place. And there's so many great Ghanaian fighters. Ike Corte, Azuma Nelson. We could keep going. Was it Alfred Cote was another great fighter? There's so many great fighters that come out of Ghana. They're steeped in history there. What's my issue with Nigeria? No, it's no issue with Nigeria. I just think that because, of course, you've got Joshua in his connection here to Nigeria. I just don't think that's cool because then we want even playing field. Ghana, none of those guys are Ghanaian, but it's in Africa. And especially since that's where all the slaves came from. A certain period, though, there's a 1 hour difference. Ghana has a face rivalry with Nigeria, so it might not be the big place. Nigeria and Ghana are both same time, GMT. Great, there you go. Yeah, I caught that slick comment too, LOL. So yeah, I think Ghana is a great place. Ghana will be a great place. So I've got nothing against Nigeria. What have I got anything against Nigeria for? I think the fight should be in Ghana. BWTM making one box fights now. Pick up the Ghana boxers. Of course. Why not Ghana? Why not? And think about all the fans. Think about all the fans, British and American, flocking to Ghana to see this great fight. Oh my God. Just picture it now. Steeped in history. Oh my God. Africa not putting on a great fight. And then for a change, we can see like the rumble in the jungle and the whole stuff with, you know, when we were kings and Foreman and Ali playing that all back. I mean, you lot of English fans are quite happy to sit down and watch 1966 when you last won the World Cup. And you'll play that in black and white, and you'll probably play it at this bloody World Cup coming up as well. So, do you mean Ghana has a smaller population? No guarantee they can generate the sports. Come on, man! The rumble in the jungle. I don't get it. I don't understand. Joshua Wilder, the fight could happen, and it can happen in Africa. Don't give me. Africa's rich. Africa is rich. Africa is steeped in history, and it's rich. It's rich. Yeah, would love to fight Africa. I think Ghana would be a perfect place because it's more politically stable and people would be able to feel more inclined to travel there. Only 6 hours away from the UK. There you go. Africa is not very stable just now. Okay. So the US is stable at the moment. Is that what you're trying to tell me at the moment with Trump? Are you going to tell me the UK is stable at the moment? Oh, no. It's stable for those who are unaffected. But you know what? Africa is not very stable right now. I don't think most players. Well, I don't think America is stable at the moment. I don't think the UK is stable at the moment. So I'd love to see the fight. Guy that has a pretty solid place, a solid boxing background. Trump is a piece of dog. Listen, I will say this much about Trump, and people may not like it, but it is encouraging people to do for self. It is encouraging people to come together and do for self. If that's the only good thing to say about Trump, then hey, it's encouraging people to do for self and come together. So I think there is a positive in it all. I'm not saying that what he's doing is great, but what I'm saying is what he's doing is bringing people together. How about the Congo? It's still suffering from the devastating Ebola epidemic and used to be Zaire, where the original rumble in the jungle took place, and the money could really help. Wow. There you go, Shane. That's what I'm talking about, brother. That is what I'm talking about. That's a progressive thought there. To have the fight in the Congo, in the same place Zaire where George Foreman and Ali fought. Back there again. Imagine that. It's okay for fights to happen. Hold on. let me get something straight. It's okay for fights to happen in Mexico, yeah? Well, fighters go and fight in Mexico. A lot of girls from US go and fight in Mexico. It's steeped in history. Nobody complains about that. It's okay for people to fight from the US to go to the UK and fight in the UK. It's steeped in history. UK to America, it's great. It's steeped in history. So Africa's steeped in history. Some of the greatest fighters that are in boxing history have been from Africa, right? So why? What's wrong? Why is Africa such a problem? I don't get it. And Rumble in Jungle probably did more harm to Zaire than good. I don't know about all that. Nigeria is where it should be. It will be an event like no other. Yeah, it would be, but I don't know if Nigeria is the place. Look, I just think for balance, I think the fight should not be in Nigeria, because I don't think the fight should be in Nigeria. Used to be political ploy to smite thousands. Wow. Joshua versus Wilder. Africa, give the crowd Vizsla horns like the World Cup. Of course, the winner and losers are more extreme in Africa. Let's be honest. US has pay-per-view and casino money. That's what's going to win. Yeah, it's got casino. I know all that stuff. But listen, I only asking my opinion if I was going to promote the fight. Damn, nobody's going to listen to BWTM's opinion on whether the fight should be in Africa. But I think the fight should be in Africa. And if I had my way, I'd talk to both fighters and say, brothers, take the fight to Africa. Josh, you don't want to fight in America? That's fine. Wilder, you want to fight Joshua? Fine. Go to Africa. And I think it should be a world tour. That would be wicked. You know what I mean? So a world tour kicks off, like kind of like McGregor and Mayweather did. So Joshua and Wilder, the first tour kicks off in London, then in America, then to Canada, or maybe first in Africa. The press conference could be in Africa. I will definitely be back, my brother. African Americans and UK brothers need to unite. I agree there, brother. No, Wilder is American. If Wilder is Nigerian, then Trump is Scottish. He's not. He did one of those ancestry types DNA thing, came back. His ancestry is highly Nigerian DNA, but there's no direct lineage to like for AJ. We need Duncan to make it in Africa. Of course, we need Africa, man. And I'd like Al Heyman to do it. I really would. If anyone could do it, I think Al Heyman could do it. Al Heyman could do it. I think. I really do. Thank you, brother, for that. I appreciate the. I appreciate it. I don't know where it goes though. I don't know where these $5 go, but thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it. So I want to fight in Africa. I think it has to happen. It'd be great. A world tour. If I was plotting a world tour and getting to tour half the world, and then make the fight happen. Now that would be amazing. A world tour like no other. It's the heavyweight championship of the world. If bloody Mayweather could do a world tour and it was for, a much lighter weight and there was no real world title on the line, my God, why can't they do it in Africa? The amount of money that could be generated through that world tour, tickets being sold for this world event. Damn. And then the undercard should have something like undercard should have something like Khan v Brook, Spence v Crawford. Man, if you just gave a little longer, you could do it. It goes to your Google Wallet, Ingram, after YouTube takes their cut. Do I have a Google Wallet? I didn't even know I had a Google Wallet. Wow. I'll have to look at my Google Wallet. Let's check that out. Yes, in the UK, Hearns would hire Wembley. Maybe in Vegas, they would pay millions for honor to have heavyweight undisputed between two unbeaten champions. How much would a casino pay to host Wilder Miller? White Miller, yeah, White Miller. There you go. White Miller. We need a decent undercard though, man. We need a welterweight bout as well. We need middle. We need 4 or 5 bouts in like super fights. Stephen Price, could this be the end? Well, Ingram should represent the UK on the Smoke Mobcast. Yeah, bro, bring me in. Bring a brother in, please. Bring a brother in. More than welcome to get involved. But let me think a second on this. White Miller. Needing a welterweight bout now. Spence and the winner of Porter Garcia. Crawford, or you gotta have another fight down welterweight. So now Crawford versus Porter. Thinking. Brooke Garcia. Nah, man. Brooke versus Lara. I don't want to hurt Brooke again. Brooke versus Lara. Or Brooke versus Tony Harrison. Brooke versus Tony Harrison. Thurman versus Broner. Yeah, Thurman's got to be on the card. Thurman, somebody else got to be on the card. Yeah. I mean, totally agree with my brother. UK and US should unite and support these two fighters. I'm from the UK, but I have massive respect for Wilder. Listen, this is a message to those that understand. Forget the infighting. As they say, come together. That's what it's about. Coming together. Everybody else has got their shit together. We're still struggling to get our shit together. Understand what I'm saying by that. Right. Charlo versus Ryder, just for laughs. Listen, I'm going to do a thing on John Ryder. And people laugh at me, but I'm backing that boy to do some things in the division. I really am. I think Wilder's a decent fighter. I'm the same in the UK. I respect both fighters, but Fury's my boy, and I find a lot of people don't respect all the boxers. I agree there. I like Fury. A lot of time for Fury, but I just don't know how much he's got left. I don't know how much those 3 years out have aged him. I don't know. And he doesn't actually live the life, does he? Oh, yeah. Sure. Great stuff, brother. I'll do that now. Now. Bailey Stevenson too. Yeah, definitely get that. Heard wants Brooke. Yeah, I know why. He will finish Brooke off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, but he'll finish Brooke off. Anything that's left of Brooke, he'll finish him off. If I were Brooke, I'd run very fast away from Hurd. It's too big for Brooke. Too big. Too big. Let me just send this to you, brother, very quickly. As they say in Mexico, we don't F about. I just sent the email, by the way. That's what YouTube boxing should be. Opinions and people who have a laugh back. Who you think is the best but respects everyone? I don't know. Brooke is one fight away from retirement. Needs to pick them carefully from now on. I totally agree. Kell Brook should fight Jamie. You want murder? What? Yeah, not sure why Khan doesn't want that smoke. Just just hit up my guy. That's cool. And Al, and told them to do the fight in Ghana. Cuz just hit up my guy. That's cool. And Al, and told them to do the fight in Ghana. Cuz yeah, dude, make it happen in Africa. I wasn't around for the Maypac saga, but this AJ Wilder fight has been toxic so far. It has. Cuz, if you've got a moment, it'd be great to bring you on the show to talk some boxing. I'd love to talk to you on the show. We'll have to do a separate video. We'll bring you on the channel straight away. If you've got the time, I'd like to spend 10 or 15 minutes talking boxing with you. And from an American perspective, what you think of the whole Wilder Joshua thing. So if you've got 10 or 15 minutes, I'd say Khan versus Brook. Brook, okay. Brook needs fight Khan, make a few quid and retire. I think he's too small for super and can't make welter. Totally agree there. Brook, one of the most smash and grab fighters from the UK, only fought 3 names and won 1 of them, and will now be back to fighting less opposition. LOL, just got off the phone with him. Okay, listen, bro. Cuz, if you can, let's do this. If you've got 10, 15 minutes, I really appreciate it, cuz I'd love to introduce you to the obviously our boxing fans here, so you can talk about a little bit what you know about the sport of boxing. You know quite a bit, and it'd be great to hear your perspective on how the Americans view the British, and you're quite straight up, and you'll drop some nice lines as well. So if you've got 15 minutes, let me know, bro, and I'll bring you in straight away, and we'll do a show straight off. But yeah, just say that off topic, but Khan has a fan base in America, in the San Francisco. Oh, sorry, not right now. Office don't have a mic or cam here. Oh, bro, man. You got a number though. I can always ring you and probably do the call. I could do a call via WhatsApp to you. How would that work? Off topic, but Khan has a fan base in America, in the San Francisco Bay Area. Okay. Don't be ducking now. Don't be doing a Joshua 50 million job now, King. Yeah, so that works. Oh, well, in that case, then I'll just turn my phone on, and got a choice, people. Should I do the talk? Should I do the connect hook up with my cousin now, or should I do another? You know what? I'll do another live show. We'll do the hook up there, so I don't mix the two up. Actually, may as well bring him in the room if he's there. Deserves his own show, Ingram. All right, fine. Okay, give me 5 minutes to set up the show, and when I come back, I'll be talking to King Keston. He truly is a king. So we'll be back with you shortly. Speak soon.